Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Good.
To start, Alison, yeah, I know I'm covered up, but I have a lot of tattoos all over. And so one of the things I really loved about this was to see you with these tattoos and trying to figure out like why this character would have certain tattoos on her and all that kind of stuff. Was that something you had a hand in like deciding what tattoos she would have, or was it just kind of already built into the character that she was going to have these specific tattoos?
It was a little bit of both. It's certainly in the book, the character has tattoos and blue hair. When I was reading the scripts, it was one of the things that made me really excited about the role because I've never really played a character with tattoos, and blue hair. She's a bit edgier than me. It was very exciting. I would often keep the tattoos on, midweek, even when I had days off and just walked around town with a new swagger. But it was certainly a collaboration with our hair and makeup team. They were extraordinary. Quentin, our makeup artist, he actually designed one of the tattoos that's on my forearm, although it's hard to see it a lot on the show, but he basically had an array of tattoos that I'm sure he had already discussed with Melanie and the higher ups, powers that be, that he brought to me. And then I was able to look at them and we could create our own backstory about where should the tattoos be, what do they mean to her. And so that was like a really fun part of the character building
Mhm.
for Amy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see you as I'm the youngest in my family, but I'm the only girl. While there are two sisters in this, you get to play a character who like she still has those tendencies of being like the youngest daughter, and like when everyone is kind of fighting and all talking over each other, she tends to have those kind of like moments where she'll like speak out and kind of be a voice of reason. For you navigating not only like the very real sibling talk that this show has, where they all just talk over each other at times, but also like still maintaining that like that energy. What was the fun of getting to bring that to a character like this?
I mean, I'm the youngest in my family as well, and I think it's a really interesting dynamic to get to play in these siblings because, as you said, in those moments of conflict, Brooke tries to be the voice of reason, and I think Brooke, even though she's the youngest, kind of, in a way, considers herself the most mature and the most together at times, and so she always thinks
Mm.
that she is the voice of reason and the voice of truth. And so coming into those scenes, like with these actors that I got to know so well, and that we developed this really close sibling-like bond, was just so much fun, and it was just so great to get to play those dynamics and play those moments. And our directors were so great at finding the lightness in those moments, and yeah, oh, it was just so much fun.
There's such a fun push and pull between our characters. It's sort of like a Freaky Friday. Like Amy is the oldest Delaney sibling, but she lives her life like she's the youngest, refusing to have a life path. And she's living with
Yeah.
grad students and she's like walking dogs on the weekend. Like, what's her job?
Mm.
You know, and Brooke really has it together and has a life plan. And yes, really wants to strive to be perfect and take care of everybody. And over the course of the show, we sort of see Brooke kind of deconstruct and
Mm,
Amy sort of come into her own a little bit and become more of a caretaker of the
totally.
siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for my last quick question, there's a lot of tennis. What did you guys kind of do to like become that tennis family? Because it is such a specific sport that there is an energy to it when you have been kind of always involved in tennis your entire life.
I mean, we did a lot of tennis training. We did a
Hmm.
lot of tennis training up in the Gold Coast and also at our
Mhm.
homes,
Hmm.
and really learn about the sport. But I think we all also consumed a lot of kind of documentaries about tennis
Yeah,
and about the kind of psychology of the competitive nature of the sport and what that might kind of do if you're growing up in that environment with that pressure.
definitely. What was that show we were all watching on Netflix? On
Break
some
match
other
point,
streamer.
break point.
Breakpoint. Breakpoint. We
Mm.
all watched Breakpoint, and it was like so interesting. And you're right, and some other documentaries about tennis players, just to get into that mindset of yeah, growing up in a competitive family where things are really goal oriented and you are pitted against one another on the daily, you know, as part of this sport that you do together as a family. It's very unique, and it certainly sets the backdrop for all the relationships within this family.
And thinking about what it means when love and approval is conditional, like based on a win, and what that does growing up.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for talking with me. Before I leave, I do have to say, Allison, has made me so happy to see everyone talking about the Community movie over and over again. It has just been such a joy for me.
Great. I'm happy to hear it. Fingers crossed. I think right now it's just about coordinating schedules. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
I can't wait. But thank you guys so much. I can't wait for people to get the show to see the show. I loved it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys.